Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first in a long time live stream. This one's going to be an Ask Me Anything. The monthly song contest still going strong, but this is not the day for that. We're going to be completing that towards the end of the month. So you have time to still make your submissions all the way up until it looks like the 30th, January 30th. If you don't know where to make submissions, you can do that on the website, homestudiosimplified.com, and that will help you to know where to go from there. It's been a while since I've been on here, and likewise, it does appear that there was an update for the streaming software that I'm using. So let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, things will probably look a little wonky until we get them lined back out. So, but we're trying. Looks like our good friend DJ 𝗵𝗂 has just posted in the chat where you can go to submit a song. He's also posted a link for the Discord. So, yeah. All right. Well, if this is your first time being here, this channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and help you create professional sounding music in a less than professional space. The motto around here is that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. All right, let's give a quick shout out to the longtime channel sponsor, the 𝗶𝗪𝗀 Academy. Today's video is sponsored in part by the 𝗶𝗪𝗀 Academy. The 𝗶𝗪𝗀 Academy offers affordable courses from mentors, world-class engineers, Grammy winners, and multi-platinum selling producers. And with the resources available on the 𝗶𝗪𝗀 Academy, you can learn how to create radio-ready mixes from the comfort of your own home studio. Most of the courses also offer multi-tracks that you can then add to your portfolio and begin to build out your business. Follow the link in the description of this video to head on over to the 𝗶𝗪𝗀 Academy today and start learning the skills that are needed to take your hobby or your business to the next level. All right, so we are back in the saddle again, so to speak. And it appears that my levels have changed, at least on my end. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do here to fix that. All right, that sounds a little bit better. So, ask me anything. That literally means anything music related, anything personal, anything you'd like to ask at all. Feel free to ask. And we will do our best to get you a good answer to said question. With that being said, let's go through the chat real quick and pull up the chat. Let's see if there's anything in here that would consider a question. First and foremost, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗛𝗺 music. Doesn't really have a question, but he did say, I can pull it up here. Great poem, Robert. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm assuming you're talking about the video that was at the beginning of this little soiree that we're doing here. Yeah, that was something I put together not too awful long ago. I, every once in a while, do wax poetic, so that would be considered definitely that. Leon Banks, what is up, brother? DJ 𝗵𝗂, of course, all up in the chat. Mark George, hey, what's going on? Nuno George, NJ Studio, what is going on? He says, hello, producers and mixing geeks. Simon Ambergery, whatever. Ambergy says, nice balmy 19 in Louisville, listening on my way home. Louisville, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from where I'm at, brother. And I think I called him Simon, but it is actually Simeon. Sorry about that. Audio Sound Doctor, anything new about Cakewalk Sonar? So this is like the question I get the most, I would say, when I do these Ask Me Anythings, with good reason. There's a lot of stuff going on with Cakewalk, and nobody knows what or why or how. We will come back to this question in just but a moment. Crackly Software, what is up? Ben Grauer. Jurgen, up in the chat. Don 2. Okay, cool. I assume this is Don's second account. Good deal. 𝗧𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀, what is up, brother? Awesome. Got a lot of stream staples up in here. So back to the Cakewalk Sonar question. Oops, didn't mean to take that off the screen there. So to answer your question, just quite frankly, no, I don't know if there's anything new whatsoever. They've kind of kept me out of the loop about a lot of things here lately. And I don't think it's just me. It seems like it's everybody. In fact, if you go to the website, which is sort of the be-all, end-all, they are, let's see, I think it's still under Cakewalk Software, something like that. Yeah. So, coming soon, still. Yeah. That's all. I know what you know, if you know what I mean. So as you can see, this is it. You got your Cakewalk Sonar request beta access, which I've done and have yet to actually get an email back. I'm assuming it's because I already own everything that would be in beta. Here's a ton of supposed reviews of people who have used it. I don't know. And then let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so if you go to next, which is supposed to be like basically BandLab, nothing here either. Nothing whatsoever. Just check beta out. Come on in here and check beta out. So, sorry if I sound like I'm being a little facetious, but I think it's a little upsetting, to say the least, that we still don't know anything after they made this huge announcement and then nothing. So it would be nice to know at least something. So, awesome. Looks like Jurgen's got the inside scoop, but even he can't say nothing about it. It's just that secretive. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'll know when I know, if you know what I mean. I'm not aware of too many things. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just checking over some things real quick to make sure I didn't miss any. Because sometimes there is buried within the forum, there's like updates that people never tell anyone about. And so far, I'm not seeing necessarily anything at all. Yep, I see nothing. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm, after searching and perusing, however you say that, through tons of stuff here, I'm literally seeing nothing about it. So my apologies. I wish I could answer the question better. As of right now, I would say no news is maybe good news. I don't know. Yeah. Holy smokes. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's go back to some other questions. If we have any up in here. Let's see. Coming in loud and clear. Oh, I'm just now getting that. Okay. I just had a question and the screen jumped up here. Sorry. Okay, here. Is Apple Music lossless? Is really lossless. So any digital format of music is, even if they say that it's lossless, it's not going to be lossless. In other words, if you are moving digits, if you're moving numbers on a screen, if you're moving audio from one place to another, whether that be from an interface onto a jump drive or an interface onto a computer, wherever you're moving that, you're going to experience some amount of loss because it's not going to be like it would be if you were sitting in the room. That said, we have digital audio workstations so that we can actually bake in some loss. And what I mean by that is the whole digital infrastructure that we run off of now is based off of, we are recording with the right, interfaces and the right recording levels and everything like that. We're getting the best capture that we can possibly get with what we can get. So nothing in and of itself is ever going to be lossless completely. However, I would say that Apple Music lossless is a very good codec in the sense that it doesn't degrade the sound signal as much as, like, say, an MP3 file would be. So there's that. DJ Big Red 81, how's that single coming along? It's not. If I could ever quit chasing my tail, which I probably won't because that's what I do. But yeah. Leon Banks, hey Robert, great to see you. When recording vocals, should it be recorded in mono or stereo? So that really depends on what you're going for. 9 times out of 10, mono is going to be more than enough. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be recording vocals in mono anyway. You only have, mono just literally means like you're recording one source, one signal for that one source. If you're going to be recording in stereo, the only time where that would actually make sense is if you're recording, like, say, a choir with many people singing around a microphone or a set of microphones. However, like, let's say you throw up your DAW, you throw up your faders, you're in the moment, you're trying to get some tracks down real quick, and you record that thing in stereo, it's not going to destroy or degrade your sound either. In fact, in Cakewalk, you can just right-click that file and convert it to mono if you'd like to do that. Now, another good application for stereo recording might be if you're wanting to utilize an omnidirectional microphone, if you're wanting to utilize that polar pattern in the microphone. So let's say you are recording a vocal in a live room and you want the room noise. You can set that thing to omnidirectional, set it to stereo recording, and now it's going to pick up everything around that microphone in stereo format. So if the reflections are coming in faster from the left than they are from the right, that's going to pick that up, vice versa. So those are a couple of different applications, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to record your vocals in mono. So hope that makes sense. Who wrote Tom Sawyer? Well, either Mark Twain, if you're talking about the book. If you're talking about the song, Rush, all the way. Cakewalk Sonar beta is ongoing. Okay. So we have an inside scoop here with that of Jürgen. He's given us the deets. Okay, so 𝗧𝗵𝗲 says, what type of files better in making music, WAV or MIDI? Yet again, that depends on what you're going for. So if you're looking for a real sound, say you're recording, let's say some cymbals, you can either use a VSTI instrument or a virtual instrument, and you can record them like through something like, say, like Addictive Drums 2, okay? And that will come out as a MIDI file, but it will sound like a WAV file. That, honestly, is going to be your best bet for flexibility, because you can change that MIDI at any given time to make it sound like something completely different without any degradation. You're just switching samples, so to speak. Now, when it comes with a WAV, what I will say is, if you're baking sounds in, what I mean by that is, if you're recording a guitar through an amp, that's going to be a wave symbol or a wave signal. So really, the question in and of itself kind of what's a nice way to put this? So the question in and of itself kind of shows that maybe you're not quite at that level yet to know exactly what you need to ask. So if you're asking, and I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just saying, these are essentially two different file types or formats. So one of them, WAV file, is like a real recording or a sample recording, whereas a MIDI file is something that's recorded from a MIDI instrument, or, you know, an MPK or some kind of a pad instrument, something like that. And so it's basically just a digital information being sent to the computer, whereas the other is real information, like a vocal or drums or something like that, being recorded and then sent to the computer, or even a sample. So which file type would be best? You have more versatility with MIDI, but it really just depends on the application, what you're going for. Awesome. Jürgen says he has no information about a release date or anything thereof when it comes to the walking of the cake. Okay. Good deal. And for whatever reason, this chat thing is not wanting to work properly. Okay, there we go. Oh, it looks like Mr. Simeon Ambergy has a YouTube site where he reviews contact libraries. And this is his channel, youtube.com/PraiseTracks.
I want to just dig into more of Musio. This was founded.
Well, that sounds cool. Good deal. Wait a minute. Simeon, why do you look so familiar? Like, this guy looks really familiar for some reason. Like, I almost feel like I've met you before or seen you somewhere before.
Score deep discounts on Overstock, B-Stock, and closeout items during Sweetwater's January clearance sale.
So we've got one more thing to take a look at. That is the new, well, it's not necessarily new, but reintroduced. It's not new, but it's reintroduced. And
this is his channel
Spitfire
here.
Chamber Strings Essentials. And for a long time, Spitfire Chamber Strings has been just like a very popular string library. It's just
very cool. Yeah, for some reason I really feel like I've met this guy before or something. Interesting. Okay. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. Okay, so do you have any specific plans for this year regarding this YouTube channel? Specific plans? Not really. I'm just kind of coasting along right now. We're still going to continue doing our live streams. I am going to be bringing on some more people for interviews. I haven't done that in a while. But I'm being a little bit more picky and choosy about who I bring on because I want to make sure that it aligns with the channel, but I'm also I'm getting into a different area of expertise. I'm doing some different things outside of the YouTube channel that I want to sort of start trying to marry into the YouTube channel. And by that, I mean, like, for instance, our local assembly is doing a rather large leap where they are going to be doing a lot of live recordings of the services that we'll be doing. And not just live recordings of the services, but actually, because we do those all the time, but I'm talking like we have a worship band that's called the Ignite Worship Team. And these individuals are going to be releasing original music that's going to end up being mixed and mastered by yours truly and then released underneath the church's newfound label, which is called Sandy Creek Music. So everything that we release from the church is going to be under the church's label, and they are commissioning me to mix and master 14 songs this coming year. So from January until December, we are looking at trying to put out 14 brand new songs. I think they're all going to be originals. I hope they're all going to be originals. I think there may be some Creative Commons use, like covers, maybe. But every single month, we have what's called a worship fest. So at the end of the month, we do a service that's just dedicated to nothing but music. It's one of my favorite times of the month because we just jam. And so the Sunday worship team, they jam. The Wednesday worship team jams. The Spanish team jams. The youth team jams. The Ignite team jams. I mean, it's just like, it's awesome. And then we usually have like an open choir for anybody that wants to be involved. Sometimes we do that. So with that being said, it's really, I feel like a lot of that's going to kind of blend back into the channel because this is all about music creation. It's going to be a great way for me to get some of these individuals on here, like some talent from the church. Going to get them on here to sort of, discuss their creative process and what it means for them to like write a song, what it means for them to maybe even do like some behind the scenes stuff of me recording those songs, or at the live recordings, maybe do some live streams from there. So I think there's a lot of cool things that are coming up in that aspect. I also have one of my favorite genres of music, and I've told you guys this on numerous occasions, is black gospel. I mean, there is no better musicians than gospel musicians. These guys are they're lit. And I'm going to be bringing some individuals on the channel this year. Hopefully, if everything aligns the way that it should, I'll be bringing them on the channel to discuss their creative processes. And so that's what I mean about sort of picking and choosing this year who my individuals that I'll interview are, because I simply just don't have the time that I have in times past. Just simply because my shift has changed. I work a full-time job outside of the studio, outside of the YouTube channel, and I'm no longer doing this as a business like I was last year because I got burned on my taxes and I had to shut all that down. So, with that being said, I've said all that to say this. I don't think anything's necessarily going to be like way out in left field change, but I do feel like there's some changes coming for the better. Just content wise, it's going to switch up a little bit from sort of the typical stuff that we have been doing. I do believe that we're still going to have our weekly live streams as best as we can, unless, the other things come up. And we're also still going to continue doing our monthly song contests. Sorry, my wife is texting. But with that too, there's still the obligations that I have just signed up for, being on the board of the Jackson County Drug-Free Council. I do run a drug and alcohol rehabilitation class on Thursdays now, which used to be our live stream days, those are going really good, by the way. We've seen a lot of good reports. There's a lot of people that have actually found some help. And we've been helping people not only get off of drugs, but find purpose in life, and even like snatching them from that suicidal place. So that's awesome. A lot of cool things happening on that front. I really wish I could share more of that, but that's sort of a non-disclosure kind of thing too, because I don't want to encroach upon people's privacies. But I do have a secondary YouTube channel that I'm sharing sort of some of the things that we're doing there. And that's just simply called Freedom Alliance. It's actually at the bottom of the YouTube channel. You'll see other channels I own. Freedom Alliance is one of them. And then my newest venture, I know I just keep putting irons in the fire, is a podcast that I started releasing called The Pentecostal Perspective. And this is just like a real quick, short Bible studies on specific topics that I get asked by the young people, especially, and by even people that I work with and stuff. They ask really good questions, and I love helping people understand more about who God is, and sort of much like we've done here on this channel, where we simplify the complexities of the home studio. I like to simplify the complexities of the Bible and serving God, showing people that it's not just all rules and regulations, and that it's not just some antiquated book that doesn't mean anything for us today, but that it's actually awesome to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so that's on another channel, The Pentecostal Perspective, and I've released 8 episodes of that now. The last one I actually did like an immersive audio. It's called The 7 Ages of the Bible, where I go through all of the 7 ages and explain why it's important to know what those 7 ages are. But I actually included like sound effects, almost like audio drama. It's kind of cool. So with that being said, those are some new things that I'm doing there. And I hope to, in the near future too, I hope to start releasing some tutorial style videos for things that I normally wouldn't cover. Like, say for instance, I've already started a drum tutorial that I was going to release back whenever I had the business. It was going to be the ultimate gospel production bundle. And I was going to have all of these awesome gospel singers and producers and writers and guitarists and drummers and bassists. We're all going to be contributing to this gigantic bundle that we were then going to pitch to Warren, and he was going to sell in the ProMix Academy. And then I had to shut the business down. So, which, speaking of which, I have shut the business down, and I'm not making any money off of anything anymore. Very little bit off of YouTube. I'll be honest with you on that. I mean, very little bit. So if you would like to still support the channel for the labor of love that I'm doing here, I would suggest that you either join the YouTube membership, which will get you some freebies. It gets you like the Cakewalk templates that I use and stuff like that. There's like some free downloadable stuff on there. But I mean, other than that, like all of my videos, like my paid courses even, are free now. So even if you just supported just for that reason would be great. And then there's also a Patreon link where you can go and support me on Patreon if you'd rather do it that way. Now, some of you have reached out and have said that you had to discontinue your support due to bills and things like that. I completely understand that. Like, this is not going to take, bread out of my kids' mouths, or this isn't going to, cause us to have to foreclose on our house if you guys don't help. It's just a way of you showing your appreciation for the years that I've invested here in the community, and I would greatly appreciate it. So no pressure, but there's that. Okay, that's a really long answer to a short question, which I'm good at. The Frugal Streamer says, which, by the way, it looks like he has been a supporter now for 1 year. So thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that, man. He says, how would you approach drums for live broadcast as opposed to a studio mix? That's a great question. So with a live mix, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have live mics. If you don't, you need to get some, because it just, especially if you're live streaming, like a service or a concert or something like that, it adds to that ambiance. When people tune in, it's like they can hear like the little bit of the crowd noises, and sometimes babies crying, and sometimes, you know, it's good for what it's good for. But it also just helps to sort of rein in like the room sound and to make things sound a little fuller, a little richer. So for a live broadcast, I would definitely make use of the live mics if you have them in the audience. And if not, that's completely fine. And then a studio mix, things are going to be a lot drier. They're going to be a lot, well, you're going to be able to control them a lot more. So you might have more reverb, more compression. You might have more gating than you would have in a live mix. Whereas in a live mix, you got to be very careful. You're sort of balancing on the edge of a knife, because if you have too much of something, you can't always hear it in the front of house, but the live stream is suffering because of it. Thankfully, we have some awesome front of house engineers, Brother Phil Boyd and his brother Jay Boyd. They do a phenomenal job every single week of mixing front of house as well as mixing the live stream audio. If you ever want to go and check out what a good audio mix sounds like in a live stream, go and check out our church's website whenever we do a live stream, or you can go and check out the previous lives, and you might even get to see and hear me on there a couple of times. Every Sunday, usually, unless I'm sick, and Lord knows I have been lately. But with that being said, the main thing that I would approach them differently is just knowing that I have different beasts to wrestle in, so to speak. So with a live mix, you've got feedback issues. You've got the inability to take control over sometimes every kit piece and to really dial in what you want it to sound like and hear. Whereas in a studio mix, you've got full on, like, you can do anything with those. You can even replace kit pieces, you know, with like Addictive Trigger and stuff like that, which I love, by the way. If you have not used Addictive Trigger, oh my goodness. Addictive drums too are just, they're absolutely phenomenal as they stand. I love them so much that I own every single kit. I own every single one of them. I love them so much that I owned Addictive Trigger and now Retro, and they're, at some point, I need to just throw you guys up here on a live stream and show you all the amazingness that is baked into those things. But so, yet again, that's how I would approach that, if that makes sense. Ben Grauer wants to know, will the new Cakewalk by BandLab have a version for Mac? So BandLab is already on Mac, but I don't much care for BandLab. It's very glitchy. There's not a lot of, you can't like manipulate things easy enough for me. It just seems kind of like a toy. However, the new version, I can't say much about it, honestly. You might be able to message Jurgen, who could maybe disclose something for you. But apparently they've signed a non-disclosure act anyway, so. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, hey, Cindy. Leon and Cindy are stinking. They are tearing it up over there. They've got gig after gig after gig. Posting on the social media like crazy. You guys are doing great, man. DJ, Big Red 81 asked the question. Excuse me. Woo! I don't think this sickness is ever going to go away. When you started your mixing and mastering business, how did you come up with the name Mockingbird Studio? Great question. Okay, so that's still a dream of mine. I will not let it die. I will die on this hill before I let it die. And so I had this crazy, and still do to this day, I have this crazy thing where everywhere we go, we will be driving in the car. We'll in a completely different state. We'll be in a completely different city at a different time. Everywhere I go, I notice, and it's crazy, I'll always catch my eye. There'll be a mockingbird everywhere we go. Like there's mockingbirds just follow me. And I remember I was just like really thinking hard about that one day, like about a mockingbird and how cool they are. Cause I love the collar patterns. It's a simple like black, gray and white, or brown, gray and white. And, they just look really regal. And But the thing that really points out about them, everyone always is like, well, they know all of those different bird songs, and they can even sound like car horns. And so my premise behind creating a studio called Mockingbird Studio, which I have to kind of explain sometimes every time someone asks anyway, because they kind of look at you like, it almost has like a bad connotation, like I'm trying to get you to mock what everybody else is doing, but that's actually not the case. So my premise behind that is the mockingbird, at one point in time, when it's born, it has its own song. But have you ever heard the mockingbird's original song? Probably not. And even if you did hear it, you would probably wonder, is that even really the original song, or is it something they learned somewhere else? So the premise behind that is the mockingbird learns the songs that it learns from its parents. And those parents learn from their parents and from their parents. But my premise behind that was that when I brought people into the studio and I recorded them, my goal was to get them to sing their original song, not to make them a copy of what someone else was. And I wanted to get them back to their roots and to help develop and to showcase to the world their original song. Because I think if we knew what the original song of the Mockingbird was, it would probably be a pretty big deal. Like if somebody recorded, for instance, it would probably go viral if someone recorded the original song of the Mockingbird, like before it learned all of the other bird songs. And so my goal with Mockingbird Studio was to create a place where people could unveil their own song and share it with the world and let it stand out and be set apart and set on top of everything else that's out in the world, because everyone else is kind of like a mockingbird. They sound like this artist or they sound like that artist. But my goal was to, through coaching and through recording processes and the sounds that we picked, was to try to draw out of them that originality. So, yeah. Next question is, how do you deal with great variations in velocity in MIDI, like when mixing patterns in 82? It can be really annoying. So, yeah, that really is a tough one. There is like a pencil that you can use to actually change that. There's also tempo maps, but you're not talking like tempo, you're talking velocity. So with the pencil tool, you can actually draw in different velocities, or you can just set them all straight across the board. Although it can be annoying, that little bit of a differentiation, though, from one snare hit to the next can really make it sound a lot realer than it does just by itself. Have you ever reviewed New York mute math music? No, I haven't. That sounds interesting, though. Joshua Patrick Garrett. I believe this is the first timer. Let's give him a round of applause. He says, are you familiar with Porta Studios? Do you know a workaround? Needing to have a certain Windows version in order to import an MP3 via USB. This manual says I need XP or Windows 10. I think 10. I am not familiar with Porta Studios. If I'm not mistaken, though, that's like the little box that you use that you can kind of take with you at places. But I don't know why you would need a Windows anything, because I think the USB is on the back of the unit itself, and it should just import MP3. So I would maybe check the manual to see if there's a certain specific file format that it's looking for, or if the USB stick itself, or if the USB stick itself actually needs to be formatted a certain way. Like there's FAT32, and then what's the other one? Like NATSB or something like that. But I would definitely look more deeper into that. But that's kind of the best thing that I could, come up with there. Hey, could everyone watching consider hitting the like button to help others find Robert's channel? That's a good, that's a moment of clarity. Awesome. Yeah, I'm always hiding in the back on the live streams. You're right. So good luck finding that. Da, 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 da. Thank you so much, 𝗧𝗵𝗀𝗀. That's a great point. Thank you so much. It is better for a YouTube channel to evolve over time than to just become stale and stagnant. And we've had definitely a lot of evolutions on the channel. We went from being nothing but tutorials, and I'm going to teach you all about Cakewalk, into we did that whole soiree where we was writing a song together step by step, and then we went into the soiree of like reviewing products like crazy, and then we went into raw track reactions, and then we went back to where we're at now, which is kind of like a blend or an amalgamation of a lot of those things. But I think it's with musicians especially, like we just get too bored too easy, you know? So the Frugal Streamer with a follow-up here, he says, we have pencil mics for the crowd mics. We have an Alesis Strike Pro SE kit. Okay. So yeah, you have an electric drum kit then. Dude, sky is the limit with an electric drum kit. You can make that thing sound like anything. You should be able to dial it in to where it sounds pretty much the same in-house and on the live stream as well. Pretty simple. Jonathan Hamlet, what is up, brother? He says, long time no chat. I'm still a distant member of the community. That's fine, man. We're happy to have you here. And I totally get it. Like, people's lives are just busy. So Nikki Tedesco has a question. She says, SM7B to record vocals for an album or purchase a Neumann TLM 103. So that's a tough question because obviously, you know, every vocal is going to sound different on those things. I would maybe find a place where you can rent both microphones and just try them out. Or if you have a friend that has one, ask if you can borrow it for, a few hours and lay down a couple of tracks, see which one sounds best in raw form. Not after it's been all prettied up with a bunch of plugins, but in raw form, which one sounds the closest to your ears, like what you want to hear. Now, what I will say is an SM7B, which is what I'm using right now, that is going to require that you get some sort of a cloud booster, or I use the Cathedral Pipes Durham. This is just 24 dBs of clean gain, because this thing is a gain hog. Like if I have that turned off, like literally, you're not going to hear, actually, let's see. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to turn that off without, yeah. So as you can see, it just gets lower and lower and lower. If I don't have that initiated though, this mic is so low, like you got to crank the gain up to get anything out of it. Whereas with a Neumann TLM, that's going to be plug and play. You're going to be able to get probably more gain than what you need out of that thing because it's a very hot mic. But there are some pros and some cons. So with the Neumann TLM, you're going to need a pop filter. With this, it has a built-in pop filter, not just here, but inside the capsule itself, there is a secondary pop filter. So it's supposed to really cut down on the p, p, p and the b, 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 those plosives that you get. Now, I do still get them occasionally because I like to talk right in the microphone. And whenever I'm talking about Sally sold seashells down the seashore, the S's sound better on this microphone than they would on a Neumann. Just simply because there's that barrier there. So best case scenario, get you a couple, get both of them and try them out, raw format, which one sounds best to your ears, and then go with that one. But yeah. Awesome. Have to step out for a minute. Snowplow. Should classical music be compressed when mastering? I believe it should, but very minimally. And by the way, 𝗧𝗵𝗀𝗀 is a first timer. Awesome. Yeah. I think it should be very, very lightly. It should almost be transparent. Classical music, the entire goal of classical music in and of itself is to just sound organic as possible. Unless you're going for a specific sound. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, so here's sort of a follow-up answer to a question. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 who actually, he does a lot of work himself. He says one of his clients had a Task Camcorder Studio with a USB. I had Windows 7. When I plugged it in, not only showed up the stereo mix that you would import, but also the separate tracks. So that might help you. Good deal. Thank you. With a Neumann, would I need a preamp or can I do it all in the box? Thanks again. So yeah, anytime you have a microphone that requires, especially a Neumann like this, that would require phantom power, you're going to, more than likely, you're going to need an interface and or preamp. So like a Focusrite 2i2, I'm using a Rodecaster Pro right now. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to need something to plug that into to be able to control your gain. You can't just plug it straight into the computer. Well, you can, but I definitely would not recommend that. For one, your computer is not going to have the ability to have phantom power. And for two, even if you make it work somehow and you plug it straight into your computer, the converters that are in the sound card of your computer are pale in comparison to even the cheaper, like low end, like even a Behringer preamp or slash sound card is going to be better than going right through your computer. So great questions. Yes, you can make a pop filter with a coat hanger and a pair of nylons. I've done it. Actually, even better than a coat hanger, which the coat hanger is good because you can kind of bend it where you need it to be. But if you take a, it's those like round, it's for knitting, or not knitting. It's for like needlework. It's like a round, wooden, sometimes plastic. What is that thing called? Anyway, you stretch, it's got 2 rings and you can tighten it down, and it's for like needlework or sewing. You can get them in the sewing aisle at Walmart all day long. And you stretch your stockings over that, and you can even double it up, and then you put the other clamp on top of it, and you clamp it down, and then it's got this little base at the bottom that you can attach some kind of clamp to, and it's perfect. It works perfectly, and it looks a lot better than than the old coat hanger. But hey, coat hangers work. I've done it. It was good enough for Michael Jackson. Nikki says, sorry, one more question. There's a huge difference between the TLM 102 and the 103. I don't think it's a huge difference. I think it's the internal inner workings of the mic itself. It's not really a huge difference. So, in fact, we can go ahead. We can Google it. What's the difference between a TLM 102 versus 103? So the TLM 102 is a do-it-all mic for serious podcasters, home recordists, or studios who want a reliable mic. The TLM 103 is for serious home recordists, professional broadcasters, or professional studios with the top-end mic with the character. That helped. That really helped there. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really look like there's too much of a difference. And this review from a gentleman that I trust, He says either one of them would be a great addition to your home studio. And then he offers up some alternatives. So yeah, yet again, if you can get your hands on both of them, try them both out and see which one you like. The Frugal Streamer, what is the name of your church? We are called the Tabernacle at Sandy Creek, or the Apostolic Tabernacle. Apostolic Pentecostal Tabernacle, APT. There's all kinds of names for it. The Tabernacle at Sandy Creek is kind of what we've landed on. Goodness. And I will post a link to that here in the chat. Well, it looks like the Tabernacle at Sandy Creek actually posted the link to the website. Okay. We got somebody from the church watching right now. Good deal. Okay, so the TLM 102 is far less voiced from the 103, which is brighter. So that's, there you go. That's from an individual that's actually used both. So I would definitely go and check that out. They're widely used for voiceover artists. Okay, cool. And it looks like we are caught up with all of our questions. That's awesome. Good deal. Which, by the way, if you guys go and check out the Tabernacle's YouTube channel, if you'd be so kind as to check out some of the live streams, I would love to hear a different set of ears on what our live streams are sounding like. That would be awesome if you go and check those out. So, actually, let me just, so like this one right here, for instance, is our most recent one. Probably the best sort of result that we're going to get with awesome. Do you ever use MIDI guitars such as Roland GI? Ooh, I'd love to. Sadicus. Brother, I would love to. I've been wanting to get my hands on. Have you ever heard of the Jonathan Hamlet? No, they are not. They're mixed in the same room. It's tricky. But I'm telling you, they do a great job at it. So back to, sorry, shiny objects. So back to, there's a system called the Ghost system, Ghost pickups. It's kind of invasive. You have to do a little bit of modification to the guitar. Yeah, the Graphtec Ghost pickup system. I'm telling you what, guys, like this. Okay, I'm going to bring this over here so you guys can check this out. Because, which by the way, if you all want to buy this for me, I will do a full review on this and give you full credit that you've bought it for me. My birthday is coming up, just to let you know. So if that's what you want to get me for my birthday, I would appreciate that. The fact that you guys are even considering it right now, it just warms my heart knowing that you guys are considering this right now for a birthday present. Okay. Anyway, this is what it's called. So let me move my mug. So the Acoustophonic uses the Hexpander preamp. You actually wire this into the guitar, an electric, and you can make your electric sound like an acoustic. Furthermore, if you get the Hexpander with the Ghost pickup system, you can make this thing sound like any number of instruments. So your guitar can literally sound like anything. You turn your guitar into a MIDI instrument. So here's the different versions that they have to make sure that everybody's up to speed. You got your bass, you got your Floyd Rose style. So yeah. So much awesomeness. But it's a little pricey. Let's just see here. Yeah, let's go to the shop here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in order to get this version here, which would be the Hexpander and the Ghost pickup, all of it together. Oh, wait a minute. That's the accessories. All right, so here's the Ghost pickup saddles. You have to buy the saddles. So there's $137 just to put it on a Strat. Yeah, you're talking buku bucks. But each one of these saddles actually becomes like a piezo pickup. So it's super cool. And then once you get that, you're not done. Now you got to get the wiring kit, which can be, if you get the Acoustophonic and Hexpander, so you would have a MIDI guitar that can also sound like an acoustic guitar. You're looking at $461. That's just a bit much. Just a bit much. So, as you can see, with $500 or $600 invested, and you have to drill into your guitar, it's like, ouch. But I'm telling you though, like this thing is wow. Actually, let me real quickly see if I can show you. Okay, here is Burr Johnson doing a demonstration of this. Okay, this is absolutely amazing.
Hello, everybody. I'm Burr Johnson, and I'm here to demonstrate the Axon pitch to MIDI converter and the Ghost system together. My Ghost system is inside right here. It is an Acoustophonic pickup with piezo crystals. That's how it works. And it connects to the Axon by going out this 13-pin DIN cable into the Axon. And by having these two superior products put together, we're able to create some unusual music that you would not expect to see coming out of a six-stringed instrument.
Now he's doing that on the guitar.
First and foremost, the most important thing about the Axon and working with the Ghost system is the tracking and the accuracy of the notes. So you can see it's getting every note that I'm playing without any difficulty, even chords. So it'll get everything. I'm going to show you a different sound. This is a Hammond B3. An acoustic piano. A lot of people who know about MIDI might say, well, that's well and good, but what about the lower strings? The Ghost system is enabling me to connect into the Axon, and that's why I'm able.
Okay, if you want to check this video out later, he goes on about this for quite some time, but it's absolutely amazing. I will maybe give you a link here. It's acting weird. Yeah. I'm telling you what. So, there's that. Anywho, all right. Well, we've goofed around enough today. I appreciate you all hopping on. We've got 19 likes and 16 viewers. That's the first. Like, I didn't really have to like beg you guys to like the video either. That's cool. Thank you all so much for hopping on. The keys sound good. I know it's not about expensive gear, but that's super expensive. But see, for someone like me, yes, Joshua, they do. And here a minute ago, I was like, oh, the Tabernacle's watching. That was actually me logged into the account. So sorry. So now I just posted that video right here. You can go and check that out. Just research the Ghost saddle pickup system. It should take you right where you need to go. But yeah, guys, I'm telling you, that's absolutely amazing. So if you guys want to get together $600 and send it my way, I will not be mad at all. MIDI Guitar 2 does not, what? Wait, what? What is that? MIDI Guitar 2? You've already got me Googling stuff here. Jam Origin audio. Turn your guitar into a polyphonic MIDI controller. Wait, what? How? No hardware or tweaking needed. This sounds way too good to be true. Hold on. Download a free trial. Yeah, I don't know about this.
Hey guys, my name's 𝗶𝗶 𝗧𝗵𝗀 and here we are at a wonderful
I'm in the weeds,
venue in Texas.
looking at another one.
And I'm playing guitar for 𝗧𝗵𝗂, ELP Legacy. And basically my job on the tour and in the band is to play Keith Emerson's keyboard parts, but on guitar. Now in the past I've done this just by using kind of regular analog pedals. But this tour I've discovered something called MIDI Guitar 2 by a...
All right, get into it, man. What are you doing?
And it is on it to
Still
MIDI.
talking.
You can hear some of these MIDI sounds. So, for a Keith Emerson solo... There you go. How amazing is that? And when you put the guitar into the mix, it sounds even cooler as well. So basically what I've got going on is my pedal board here. This is the Boss ES8. It is sending a feed to my laptop, regular audio interface, and which is going to MIDI
Focus,
Guitar
right?
2,
Okay.
and that's converting all of the sounds. So I can, I've got it all MIDI'd up. So if I want, while I'm holding down this button, it'll give me a synth sound. So we get this sort of thing. And just to give you an idea what that sounds like with the guitar amplifier off of standby. So here I've got my regular sounds. While I hold down this pedal, it's feeding the audio to my laptop, so it sounds like this. Here's another song we're doing called Ho Down, and this adds a Hammond sound to my guitar sound. Not sure how well you can hear that.
All right, a little whippersnapper. Well, that sounds cool. I might definitely give that a try. Now that we went off in the weeds on that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on the channel again, for spending some time with me. We need to do this more often. I need to get more time. Hopefully, in the near future, my schedule is going to change again. We'll be going back to 12 hours. So I hopefully will have some more free time to do stuff like this with a little bit more ease. So we shall see. All right. But thank you all so much for jumping on. Until next time, remember, we got to spin the wheel of awesomeness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You thought we was going to get by without spinning the wheel, but 𝗧𝗵𝗂 𝗪𝗀𝗻's here to save the day. Spin that wheel, Robert. Ha-ha. All right, we landed on a little bit of trivia. Casey, why do you have to like draw your words out like that? I guess it's from working in radio for so much, Robert. Once you work in radio enough, you just kind of draw the words out. Okay, that's weird. What kind of trivia do you got for us? What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, we spun the wheel, we landed on trivia. What do you mean? What do I mean? I thought that you had the trivia. Oops. Robert, this is why I really wanted to fire you. You wanted to fire me? I wanted to fire you. What are you talking about? Anyway, let me try to pull up some trivia here because evidently our good friend 𝗧𝗵𝗂 𝗪𝗀𝗻, that's 𝗧𝗵𝗂 𝗪𝗀𝗻. Yeah, that guy. He evidently forgot to pull up any kind of trivia questions for us. So thanks, Casey, for dropping the ball. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, so let's see here. I'm trying to pick a hard one. Keith Moon and John Entwistle of The Who are said to have inspired the name of which other classic rock band? Let me post this in the chat so it'll be easier for you to read here. Keith Moon and John Entwistle of The Who are said to have inspired the name of which other classic rock band? What'd you do? Did you get that off of Google? Yes, Casey, I did. That's usually where you get yours, actually. Where are you going? Hello? I don't have to talk to you. I'm more famous than you are. Ha ha! See you later, scumbag. Wow. Okay. Well, as has already been brought up here in the chat, I guess we're just going to have to replace 𝗧𝗵𝗂 𝗪𝗀𝗻 for a moment and find a new radio DJ that can help us out until we can get all the guesses in here. Let me see if I can get Hank Hill on the phone here. Hold on. Yeah. Hank. Yeah, it's me again. Hey, Casey just walked out of the studio. He shouted up something at me as he was walking off and was pointing up to the ceiling with his middle finger. I don't know what he was pointing at, but I didn't see anything. Could you just come on here and just close out the Wheel of Awesomeness for us real quick? Awesome. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Hank Hill is in the studio. Yeah, I'll tell you what there, Bobby. It's okay if I still call you Bobby, right? Robert would be better than... Well, I'll tell you what there, Bobby. It's about time we spin the wheel again. This time, let's give it a little bit of propane on the back end of it. Because sometimes when you get in there with a large fry, a pie, and a coffee, you just got to spin the wheel. Yeah, buddy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, buddy. A favorite. What's your favorite? Do you like to grill with charcoal or propane? All right. Well, thanks, Hank, for coming in the studio and helping us to end out the show today with yet again another favorite. Now, DJ Big Red 81 had guessed Zeppelin. That was the correct answer. Good job. The Who inspired the band's name Led Zeppelin. So very good on that. However, a favorite from our good friend Hank Hill, who just saved the day after 𝗧𝗵𝗂 𝗪𝗀𝗻 just What is he doing? Okay, guys, I'm going to have to go pretty soon because it looks like Casey is berating Hank Hill now. And Hank is such a nice guy. I don't understand. Well, never mind. Okay. Hank just laid him out. He's on the ground crying. Okay. Anywho, Hank was wondering, what is your favorite to cook with, charcoal or propane? And guys, please do him a favor and say propane, because if you say charcoal, this could be bad. All right. But well, before we close the show out today, let's give some shout outs as well. These are some awesome individuals who have recently decided that they would subscribe to the channel, or they have made a pledge. And that can be done through Patreon again. Thank you so much, Joshua Helms, for your pledge of $5 a month. Dr. Cool 56, thank you for subscribing. Sherwin TV Mix, Tyrone Rotes, Brett Kelly, Stanley Phillip, 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗃, that dude, 𝗶𝗱𝗂𝗀𝗃. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I'm sorry I'm butchering your names. That's what I'm good at. But yeah, charcoal if I'm not cooking. Oh, ouch. I'll tell you what there, you little whippersnapper. I seen what you wrote on there. Disc Jedi Panorama. What kind of a name is that anyway? I'll tell you what. I'll come down there and take your charcoal and stick. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Hank, chill, man. What is it with the extra people that I bring on the show that they all got to be violent? Anywho, thank you all so much for showing up today. Love and appreciate each and every one of you. Remember that we can dream alone. We can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. God bless you guys.